What's up guys, Silver here with another Halo Master Chief Collection Achievement Guide. This time we're doing Part 8 of A Monument to All Your Sins, which is complete every level of Halo Reach on Legendary by yourself. So start up this mission, it has to be on Legendary obviously. We're going to go forward to this rock and we're going to take out the turret pilots right off the bat. We could kind of get them to pay attention to us by shooting at them. Hopefully that guy's not paying attention, but we'll look to the other one and hopefully this guy is. We could take him out. There's also some fuel rod grunts and other grunts kind of running around the area, so take those guys out as you see them. But the big priorities are the two the two regular plasma turrets hanging out up on top of the building opposite you when you spawn in here, and then the one down on the right. We're going to take these guys out as we can. Once they're looking at you, it's easier to shoot them because their head kind of is popping up over the top of the seat there. You could actually shoot them easily once they stop shooting at you. So kind of duck behind cover. They'll stop shooting at you but still be looking at you, and then you could kind of pop out and shoot them in the head. But then for the other grunts, obviously just shoot them with headshots to get them to go down, and then there's going to be two ghosts as well. And these ghosts are actually pretty easy to deal with. We're going to actually just kind of go into this building, and if you stand in this doorway, you'll be able to get them to kind of come over to you, and they'll try to kind of engage with you. But since they're not really able to splatter you or anything in this doorway, you could actually just kind of pop out and board them easily, knock them out of their ghost, which will actually kill them with the smack to get them out of there, so you don't have to worry about them once you board them. And this is kind of messy right here. What I should have done was drive the ghost away from the doorway. I kind of left it right there, so it's hard for the other ghosts to come and engage me. So I'm going to drive this away, which you should do initially before you kind of leave it there wherever you want to leave it, but just don't leave it in front of the door. We could pop the jackal in the head. He has a focus rifle up there while we're over here, and we could take out these remaining kind of grunts that are hanging around here. Now we're in the doorway. Now the grunt could actually move up to the doorway with the ghost, and we could also plasma pistol him to stun him as well, so that's always an option too. And then we'll take the ghost. You don't need to take the ghost, but this just makes it a little faster. And speed over here, hop into the tank, but if you want to actually preserve some of the health of your tank, if you're not great at making it through this section with the tank intact, you'd actually take out the gunners on some of these turrets before you even get in, and that will allow you to be able to just move through here freely without having to worry about taking damage to your tank, and you'll be able to have it survive much longer. So we're going to back up into this next section. These turrets ahead you could actually take out with the DMR as well before you jump in the tank, but if you want to just use the tank, you could just back up. And the reason I'm doing this is because they don't like to shoot at you, or they don't like to shoot at the back of the tank or the front of the tank. They like to shoot the middle of the tank, which is where you are. So you can see I'm kind of just taunting them. I'm kind of shoving my backside back and forth out here, and that's all they could see, and they don't even shoot at it because they want to shoot me in the center of the tank. So you could use that to your advantage because the tank's big gun is actually on the backside. So by just kind of sticking your butt out with the tank, you could actually kill all of the enemies, and they have no interest in firing back at you. So we're going to back up and kind of take out all those enemies. Then we're going to turn around and drive in between this anti-gravity thing, or the gravity lift, and the rock on the right here. So we could kind of do the same thing, kind of stick our butt out and take out these three ghosts up ahead here on the slope, and they won't really be able to shoot at us too much. They could shoot at us a little bit here with this angle because they're kind of up higher, but most of their incoming fire is blocked by the rock. So we're going to use that strategy further along as well, where we just kind of go butt first into the battle, and we're just going to take out these infantry on the left, any that remain, and then we will move up and we'll take out the anti-air guns in the next section here. So these anti-air guns, obviously by design you are supposed to go into them and blow them up from inside, but you could actually just blow them up by firing at them from outside. So we could just kind of hang back here, and we are totally safe. No one's going to fire at us, and we could take this first gun out from back here, and we'll just kind of do that. Not much to this part. And then we're going to move forward, and we'll take out we'll take out the right turret in the same way, but it's a little more dangerous because there's some banshees that could start firing at you. There's that ghost we took out who is firing at you, along with some jackals up ahead there. So still pretty safe, still pretty easy, but just some more to think about here. And I've noticed that if you just totally ignore the banshees, they're way less likely to shoot at you. So if you're going through this section, I would advise to just ignore the banshees. So I might take some shots at them. If I do, just don't follow my lead there. Just do what I'm saying, not what I'm doing. I forget if I shot at banshees on this run through. But anyway, we're going to roll down here to the left, and we could take these guys out. It makes this section easier if you just take out the infantry on the ground along with a ghost that's over there. You could actually just roll past them on the right side, which I do a lot of the time if I'm speedrunning this, but you could just take them out on the left here. It's pretty easy because they're distracted by those falcons that come in, and you want to make sure that you've taken out the two turrets because those falcons won't come in as long as those turrets are active. So take out the turrets, then the falcons come in and provide some damage for you on the enemies, and they also distract them, which is a big plus as well. so you could kind of finish them off with your tank from the side over there. Then we're just going to keep on going. And you can see the Banshees don't really shoot at me here. Normally, they do if you start laying into them. So just leave them alone. They'll leave you alone for the most part. But you could shoot that sniper turret before you even get to it because the right side of it is actually exposed a little bit. The left side's not exposed. It's the opposite of exposed. It's covered up by some trees, so you can't actually get at it. But you could shoot the right side, blow it up before you get over here so you don't have to worry about the fuel rod grunt on top. And there's also 3 ghosts. One is to the right all the time, so you can take him out quickly. And then the other 2 are just over this hill here, so you got to kind of play with them a little bit. Sometimes they expose themselves right away, so you could just shoot them. Other times they like to play hide and seek, so you have to kind of go back and forth a little bit to get them to expose themselves. But we're going to go butt first here over this little hill and in between these 2 rocks, and you could get a good vantage point on all these guys over here. There's 4 turrets and 3 revenants. So we took out that first turret who has fuel rods, so that's definitely a priority. And we're going to take out this turret in the very far distance. You can see he sees us and he's shooting at us, but it's actually just outside of the range of his bullets. So you can see those plasma bolts are actually just kind of disappearing right before they hit us. So he kind of just gives away his position and allows us to just shoot him and destroy him easily from far away, while he cannot do any damage to us at all if we just kind of hang back here. But we have another plasma turret right here, kind of behind this rock and tree formation here. So take that guy out. We're going butt first, like I mentioned. And we have the 2 revenants down low, and there's 1 more revenant up high along with a fuel rod turret. So we took down the 2 low revenants here, and we're going to kind of inch our way out. We're still going butt first, and we're going to shoot up here to the left. There's going to be a fuel rod turret up on the rock over there. And if the fuel rod turret starts firing at you, just kind of duck back behind the wall. The fuel rod turrets are locked onto you, actually, so they'll just kind of hit the wall if you cut off that angle. And that's another reason why I go in butt first, is because you could drive the tank slower backwards, and it goes faster forward. So we kind of enter the battle slowly, but then we could retreat much more quickly. So that's another big advantage of going butt first, on top of they just don't really shoot you that much if you expose your butt first and go butt only. So we're done with our butts. Enough talk about butts. We're going for the ghost over here, and we're going to go face first. No more butts. And we will be driving straight past all of the enemies here, basically. So we're going to take the ghost over here. Try to make sure that you don't blow these up with like a stray rocket, or not a rocket, but a tank canister shell of some kind. And I inappropriately blocked the path with my tank, so don't park it there. But we'll just kind of maneuver up on this rock, I guess, and get around it. There we go. We will be moving up through this doorway here, and we're going to go past the elites up here along with some grunts up on turrets. So you have 2 options here, and I basically do a bad job of both of them. You could just boost past all of these guys and into the garage there and move on to the next section, which is what I would do normally. But you could also just hop out and use your plasma pistol and also a DMR to noob combo these guys. So overcharge plasma pistol, the elites to get their shields to collapse, and then finish them with a headshot. I do a bad job of that, and I also kind of wait too long to easily boost past these guys. So I'm shooting and killing a couple of them, but it's easier to just boost past these guys and take less damage if you do it right away. But I kind of waited and decided to do it a little late, so I took a lot of damage there and almost died, but we got through. So kind of pick one or the other. Just kind of blaze through with your ghost right off the bat, or kind of take the enemies out slowly. If you do just wait there, you will probably have Noble Team just take everyone out for you. It'll be a lot easier because they're kind of pushing in from the left side to flank those guys. But you can see here that there was a health pack on the way into this section, and there's also some DMR ammo to the left of this doorway that we're looking through right now. We're going to grab some right there, and we're going to push forward. And the faster you could get to this corner right here, the better. When you're looking into this room, the back right corner, once you get up here, it actually gets Noble Team to move up, and that helps your progress through the rest of this section because the Jackals are more likely to focus on those guys hanging out here than they are to focus on you. So at this point, we can move forward. To start in this section, there's the Jackals, 2 Jackals on the right with shields. So you could pop them in the little notch on their side shield and then just finish them off with a headshot as they're staggered back. And then all the other guys in this section, whether they're Jackals or skirmishers, don't have shields. So you could obviously just straight up hit them in the head right off the bat. You don't have to wait to stagger them or anything. Just shoot them in the face. And there is another thing you could do here to kind of more conservatively get through here. You could shoot the enemies with needle rifles through the catwalk. So you could see, if you could see them through the catwalk, through the grating, you could actually shoot them with a needler. So you could grab one of the needlers from one of the first Jackals we took out in the beginning of this section, and then you could just pop them in the head or just lay into them with 3 body shots with the needler, and that will actually super combine and kill them. So either way, so that's a just a more safe way of going about this section if you're not as comfortable kind of running up to them and shooting them mono, jackalo, or skirmisho. So we got more, we got another, who's shooting at me? Who's shooting at me? I don't even know. But there's another crate up here with DMR ammo, so grab that on your way. And there's also a health pack on the wall there. There he is. That's the guy who's shooting me. So I'll move up here. There's going to be some plasma pistol on the ground. So I grabbed a DMR and a needler rifle and also a plasma pistol here. So I'm going to juggle this fresh plasma pistol. There's 2 here that are full. So you could grab one or the other. It doesn't matter which. And I'm going to use the needler real quick to take out the engineer on the other side of this room. So pop out 3 shots to anywhere on the engineer. Will get the super combine to kill him. And then that way you don't have to worry about these elites having extra shielding for too long. They might have it initially, but it will dissipate soon enough, and then you can start in on these guys. I'm being super aggressive here. You can see I'm not really waiting for my shield to come back, which I recommend for you if you're not comfortable fighting these guys. But you could actually just kind of lay into these guys with the plasma pistol to get their shield to pop. But you could actually just lay into them with a DMR too. Since there's no... I'm used to my lasso strats where I need to use the plasma pistol, but since tilt is not on, and none of the other skulls are on actually, we could actually just lay into these guys with a DMR, and it's a little easier because the DMR obviously arrives at its target faster. The plasma pistol takes a little while for the bullet to actually reach its target, so you might miss. They might dodge a few times, but the DMR actually does a really good job of just kind of just laying into them right away. You don't have to worry about the travel time or anything. And then their shield pops pretty quickly because they kind of exchange shield strength for invisibility, so they kind of have a trade-off there. But there's a health pack behind me to the left and also some more DMR ammo if you need it. And we're just going to lay into this guy with the DMR. If you just stay back and don't move forward, that elite will just kind of stay in that area, and you could easily finish him off with DMR. And then we'll be able to just move forward, and we'll stay with a DMR and a plasma pistol to go into the next section. And we're just going to run up here. There's health pack on the wall to the left on our way to the switch. And then we'll be able to activate said switch and trigger a cutscene. We're going to skip it and head to the next section. There's more health on the wall to the right of that switch as well. If you need it, if for some reason you need like 4 health packs, there's a bunch over there. I guess if you're playing co-op, that applies. But we're going to head down over here now that we are in the next section. This is the final area of this mission, but we're going to be here for a while. There's a bunch of waves of enemies that come in. So we're going to start off by activating this spider turret. I'm actually going to show you a different strategy. I know there's a strategy to hijack a Banshee and then use the Banshee for a while and kind of bomb all the areas and all the enemies coming in and then exchange it for a Wraith. But that might be a little difficult for some people. I'm just going to show you a surefire, easy way to get the Wraith. We're just going to skip the Banshee part and just get the Wraith right off the bat. But we're going to have to wait for it. So I'll show you where to wait so you can just kind of get the Wraith after waiting for a little bit of time. So activate the spider turret. But if you're actually unaware of the Banshee strategy, you could check out my lasso video or my speedrun video for this mission. We're going to activate this one. For whatever reason, it takes a while for this one to come online and give you the ability for you to bring it online at least. So you got to wait there for a little bit. And then we'll go activate this one on the left. And we'll just kind of wait here because by this time there's going to be some enemies that are dropped off nearby. So activate that and then hide in this little spot and wait for the gun to stop shooting. And that means obviously that the first wave of enemies have passed and gone towards Dr. Halsey's lab. So we can safely move out. And we're going to go activate that other turret that we did not activate yet. So there's 4 turrets. We activated 3. Once that turret stops, which it looks like it has, you can see some dead bodies here from the turret. We're going to run over here, activate the 4th and final turret. And then we'll run back to that hiding spot we were just in. So you can see they're all up there, and you could take the DMR and pick off some of those enemies if you would like, but I'm just going to show you that you don't need to kill any enemies here, and you will be able to get this to work. So regardless of how many enemies you kill, the Wraith will be dropped off, and it's super reliable and everything. So super easy if you're not great at shooting or whatever, or you just want to break, you want to just run away for a little bit. Now we're going to stay here until the Wraith is dropped off. So you'll get some dialogue eventually saying, watch out for the Wraith or something. I skipped ahead like a minute and a half or 2 minutes, so not long at all. And you can see the Wraith has been deployed, that Phantom left. You can see the Wraith mortar coming up now. You could also wait for the grunts to leave, pass you by. You can see on my radar they're kind of passing me, and I kind of stuck my head out a little too soon, so they did take notice. But in theory, you could just stand there for a few more seconds, and the grunts will pass you by, and then you could easily go to the Wraith without having to kill anybody in this section. But now that the enemies have moved past us, or we killed them, and the Wraith has been deployed, we're going to move to the Wraith and hijack this Wraith, and we'll easily be able to get this. You could just walk to the bridge and walk to this point. You're pretty much on the other side of the bridge, and then you could just sprint to this ramp over here, and when you're at this point, the gunner on the front of the Wraith cannot shoot you. You can see it's obscured. I cannot see him. He can't see me, and we cannot shoot each other, so we're going to run up behind him now. So when we do poke our heads out, he cannot shoot us at this angle, and we'll just kind of pepper him with this plasma pistol, and then finish him off with a headshot, run to the front of this Wraith, and then we will board it and smack it twice to get the hatch to pop off, and then we could jump on top and pepper him with the plasma pistol, the driver in here, and then we will shoot him in the head with the DMR, and that will kill him. with one shot, and then we could hop in and take this wraith for ourselves, and we could use this for the duration of the mission here, the rest of the mission. The reason I didn't use the Banshee is because sometimes obviously it's a benefit to have, but oftentimes it's kind of tempting to just kind of throw caution to the wind and just be super aggressive and like dive at them and try to Banshee bomb them from super close, and you get plasma pistoled and then you get stuck or boarded or something crazy, or you get plasma pistoled and you get like propelled off the map because you're boosting at them, and then you get stunned and you can't change your trajectory or anything once you're stunned, so you just go careening off the side of the cliff or something. So once you get the Banshee, you kind of get more reckless. So I just wanted to show you how to get the Wraith without even having to get the Banshee to start. And also, maybe you're not even good at using the Banshee or you just don't like it. So you could literally just go stand where I stood for a while, and then the Wraith will be dropped off, and you could go get that. You can kind of skip to that. Take a bathroom break if you want. Make a sandwich. Watch Netflix. I don't know what you could watch on Netflix within like 3 minutes, but maybe there's a show out there I don't know about. A mini series where there's 3-minute episodes. But we're going to go over here now. We have the Wraith. We're going to look down to the right first because there's enemies that are dropped off here, and you don't want to get sandwiched in between a bunch of enemies. So lay into them with your Wraith mortar. You could splatter people, but I don't recommend relying on that because, again, you could get stunned with a plasma pistol, and then you could get stuck, or you could get boarded or something, or you could get stunned again, so you're continuing to take fire. I don't know why I hopped out there because that gun is already active. I, for some reason, thought it wasn't. But as you're kind of progressing through this area, you're going to want to use those turrets if you can. So just hop out when you get a chance and activate those if you're nearby. The only exception is this one. If you don't have enough time, I would say just avoid activating this one again because this one goes down super fast. And if you get caught, we can't get to our little hiding spot we're going to go to. So in between each of the next 3 waves, once you get the Wraith, there's going to be enemies in this area. Once you clear out all those initial enemies after the Wraith, there's going to be 3 waves of Phantoms that come in and drop off enemies. So they will be initiated by Dr. Halsey having some dialogue that will start off the first wave. Then the next one will be a music change. You'll know the second one is starting during a music change. And then the third one is more Dr. Halsey dialogue. We're going to go down here after some Dr. Halsey dialogue, and we're going to start shooting this Wraith, or not this Wraith. We're going to start shooting this Phantom with our Wraith, and we're going to shoot it in the top left section that we could see after kind of making ourselves snug to the left side over here. And that will get the Phantom to blow up within 4 or 5 shots, depending on where you hit it. And you'll be able to kill all of the enemies that would have been dropped off. So we kind of despawned, essentially, some of the enemies here. And in addition to that, we actually made a little base of operations here. No one's going to flank us here. Everyone's going to be in front of us, so that's a good thing. You don't want to be sandwiched in between a bunch of enemies, like I mentioned, or have multiple enemies coming from different sides or whatever. So you want to have everyone in front of you, which is what we have here. And if you ever start taking fire and you're weak or something, you could always back up and retreat down to where we were hiding when that Phantom was coming in. So this is a good situation to be in. One thing you want to take note of is the fact that on your left, a bunch of enemies are in front of us right now, but on the left there could be enemies coming from that side because enemies are dropped off where we hijacked the Wraith initially. So you don't want to move too far up towards the lab and not pay attention to your left flank there, but we're actually going to go down the left flank at this point, and we'll take out this Phantom before he could drop off any additional troops. He's hovering there waiting to drop off some enemies based on either time or however enemies are left in the area. I'm not sure which, but we'll just take him out before he could do either, and then we won't have to worry about him. So you want to move up to about here where he can't shoot you. You can see I'm using this kind of structure in front of me for cover, but I could lob up my Wraith mortars anyway. Even though he can't see me, I could see him, and I could take him out. So we will be able to take out these guys now. Now we're going to flank them, and we'll be able to move on to the second wave as soon as there's a music change. Remember, it's Halsey dialogue, music change, Halsey dialogue to indicate the start of the final 3 waves of enemies. And then as you're kind of messing around here, you could always reactivate some of these turrets. These turrets go down after taking a certain amount of fire, a certain amount of damage. They will kind of go into hibernation like a turtle. I don't know why they're... well, I guess spiders go into hibernation, don't they? Why are they called spider turrets? They don't really look like spiders. Who knows? But we'll go back down here. They're kind of like turtles. They turtle up once they take enough damage. So we're going to go down here. There's a music change, so we're going to hide in this little spot again. Like I mentioned, a Phantom will come in. We'll try to take out the Phantom as quickly as possible, and hopefully they will not be able to drop off any troops, ideally, in a perfect world. And you could actually kill them before that happens, but it's tough to actually land enough shots quickly enough as they're descending down to make sure there's no enemies that are dropped off. But there's some ghosts underneath this one, and we'll be able to hopefully take out all those ghosts before they even land by landing shots on the Phantom. So there we go, we did it, and we'll be able to take out the infantry that did make it out of that Phantom. and then we'll move forward and do the same thing pretty much. You want to be aware that there are some additional enemies that are of the bigger variety in this second wave. There are going to be hunters, so we don't want to get too close to those guys. And you can see there's ghosts up here too, and I'm taking some decent fire here. So what I like to do here is kind of go down into the left right here so I could use this rock for cover. And the design of the wraith is great for this situation because even though they can't shoot me, I could shoot them. I could just lob it up and over the cover I'm using to attack and kill them. And another good thing about activating these turrets is they often act like an early warning system, especially this turret to my back right at this point, because I mentioned the left flank, being aware of who's coming down the left flank, if anybody's coming down. And if I don't know, I could kind of get an initial reading at least to see if anyone's super close by seeing if that turret is firing in that direction, because that turret basically only fires down that left flank and a little bit up to the right as well. So if that turret's going off, I know there's some enemies over there, so it's good to have that active, if not for the damage it's providing and the distraction it's providing, but for the awareness that I get from it going off. But we just heard some Dr. Halsey dialogue, which means the final wave is upon us, so we're going to go back to our hiding spot. And this phantom is tough to take out because this phantom actually only drops a wraith and then leaves, so it's not here very long. So you have to really land shots before he's even here. So you could see I landed 2 shots before he got situated into this hovering position, and only by doing that was I able to actually take out this phantom before he was able to drop off the wraith. It's not a big deal if you don't kill him before the wraith is dropped off. If that happened, you would just wait back in the hiding spot for a little bit because the wraith kind of moves forward and then turns back around and does a circle and then sets itself up with its back to you. So just wait for it to turn around so you can see its back, and then you can attack it from behind, and it won't attack you because he's facing forward and he's kind of situated like the wraith we hijacked. You just kind of focus on shooting uphill at the lab. So you can just take him from behind. It's very easy because the wraith has way less health in the back, so that's its vulnerable spot, and it's presenting it right to you, so you can just kind of lay into it, and then you'll be able to take out the remaining enemies up here. And you don't even have to take out all of the enemies. Once you take out enough enemies, the current objective will say complete or whatever, and you could actually go up and hit the switch to activate the cutscene and end the mission. So we didn't take out everyone. You could see there was an elite that was kind of firing at me. So you could make it more safe by just taking out all the enemies before you get out of the wraith, but I just decided to hightail it to the switch and end this mission a little early. So that is all for this one, guys. Join me next time when we tackle the Pillar of Autumn, the final mission in Halo Reach on Legendary. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found that video helpful, be sure to click on the scorpion icon to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. You can also check out some related guides by clicking on the videos on screen, and you can find links in the description for other social media links of mine. Stay tuned for more Halo guides, and I'll see you in the next one.